Bitch, you let me on my own. Ay, onto that dirty now.
Peace. What's good, guys? Let's talk about and discuss NXT for December the 6th, 2022. This was the go-home show for Saturday's NXT deadline. This was a really interesting, down-to-earth show. If I just said so myself, I thought it was pretty good. So, we kicked the show off with the wild card triple threat match involving the men Andre Chase versus Axiom versus Von Wagner. Before the match, Andre Chase cut a promo, and he said that he's going to give both guys a Chase U-sized ass whooping. So Axiom gets the win. He wins via the super kick. But before that, Andre Chase did the crossbody, and he rolled out to the outside. So I'm glad that Axiom won. I kind of figured that he would. It kind of actually makes the most sense if you really think about it. I'm shocked that Von Wagner did the job, though. I really am. I'm like, damn, that's some crazy shit right there. Moving on. So, the Creed brothers, they're backstage, and they're getting checked out by a trainer. So Julius says that the trainer says that Julius is not medically cleared to compete. He looks good. So Ivy tells the trainer to check Julius's ribs. And the trainer says that that he didn't mention a rib issue, that being Julius. So Julius says that's because they're fine. Ivy says they're not. And then Brutus asks Ivy what she's doing, and she says she's protecting her brothers. And then the trainer tells Julius that he has significant swelling in his ribs, and he needs to run more tests. And so Julius, he leaves. And then Brutus is pissed off with Ivy, and she says she's just looking out for her brothers. So I'm digging what they're doing with this. It seems like Ivy's going to turn her back on the Creeds, which actually kind of makes sense. So that's interesting. We got a really fucking bad segment that pissed me the fuck off with Braun Breaker and Apollo Crews. These two guys are supposed to be having a fucking match Saturday, and there's no heat to it. It's cold as fucking ice. It's cold as ice. These guys are out there fishing on the boat. And so, basically, they're jaw-jacking back and forth like they're best buds and everything else. Like they've known each other for years, and they don't. Braun gives Crews props for his moonsault. And then Crews does the same thing. Braun admits he saw Crews doing the move first. It's just a bunch of nonsense. And Crews says that since Braun is tired, he should just hand over the title at deadline and take the much needed break. So Braun laughs and he declines. So Apollo then catches a fish, kisses it, and throws it back. They both celebrate the catch, and they both say that deadline is going to be a banger. And they tell each other their game plan, and it's basically power, intensity, and speed for Braun, and Crews says that's the same for him. And then Braun says, may the best man win. They shake hands. And that's how we end the segment. I'm like, what the fuck? Come on, man. Apollo Crews needed to turn heel. They should have done this back in November. It makes no fucking sense. Shawn Michaels should be ashamed of himself. Literally, he should. Come on, man. Like, there's no heat going into this thing. There's no heat at all, period. This is another bad feud for Braun. Another one. Oh, my God, man. Makes no sense. Moving on. So, we were about to have a match with my boy Javier Bernal. He was going to take on Bryson Montana, who had pretty good size on him. Looked pretty built. But he ate a choke slam from Veer Mahan. And Javi, he came out. And he faked an injury. Pulled his hamstring and he dipped out. So Veer and Sangha, they get on the mic. And they address the Creeds. And they say how they want to face the Creeds if they're only 100%. And so they declined the deadline challenge from the Creeds. And they're going to wait until the Creeds are ready. They don't want to wait too long. So the Creeds, they come out. And Vic Guzzlip on commentary says that Julius is no longer medically cleared. And then officials in Ivy Nile, they're holding back the Creeds. That's fine, I guess. They want to save it for a later date. That's fine, you know. Give it a little bit more build, a little bit more time. I was looking forward to seeing the match between the two teams. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Creeds, obviously. And I do like the work of Indusher. So Andre Chase, he's backstage. He's recovering from the first match of the night. So Duke's with him. And Thea, hell, she rushes in. She's overly too excited. It's like she's doing like a bunch of fucking coke and she had a huge rush of adrenaline. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this girl needs to calm the fuck down. So she says that she has a match with Ivy Nile. And then Duke advised her not to take the match. And Thea, she knows that Dawn is scary, but she's ready. And then Chase agrees with her. And so basically that prompts Chase to cuss out Duke. So I'm liking this, I guess. It probably is going to lead to where Duke Hudson is kicked out of Chase U. So we have a TikTok video from Sorika. So she's dancing and all this other shit. So Idris Enife and Malik Blade, they're arguing in the background with Briggs and Jensen for whatever reason. Okay. Moving on. Tony D'Angelo, he's back. He's back in action against my boy who's been going for quite some time, but he can't get a win at all. Zion Quinn. It's like, what the fuck? If Vince was still in charge, we know Zion Quinn would be pushed to the moon. There's no doubt about it. But Zion Quinn was the job guy. Tony D wins. In a very okay match, you know. So, Tony D gets on the mic, and he talked about being the Don of NXT. Says he's on the way to becoming NXT North American Champion until Wesley took him out. And he says that Wesley's been living, he's been living on that moment ever since. So, Wesley, he comes out and said he congratulates Tony for being back. Says that's not why he's out here. He says Lee knows he has an eye on him, that being Tony. But basically, Lee is basically telling Tony D to wait. He's got unfinished business to do with Dijak. Tony wants a title shot. He's got to wait until Wesley's done with Dijak. Tony says, nah, I'm not going to wait for anybody. I'm the Don of NXT. So, Dijak out of nowhere looking like a fucking clown. Looking like a hitman. So, he's on the Titantron, and he says that he plays by a different set of rules. And Tony doesn't care that their business is going to have to wait. So, Dijak calls Tony a scumbag. And he doesn't have to clean... my bad. He doesn't have to clean those streets up, that being Dijak. Dijak says he thought that Lee would be... will curl on a hole and stay when he got jacked up... when he jacked up his jaw. Dijak says to keep his name out of Lee's mouth because he has a special way of dealing with repeated offenders. Dijak says neither man can or will do anything to stop him from dismantling NXT. So Stack says Lee needs to listen to Dijak. There's no running from Tony D. Stack, out of nowhere, for whatever reason, pushes Wesley. Not punches him, not kicks him. He pushes him. I'm like, what the fuck? Are we like 10 here? What the fuck's going on here? So they both shove each other, and then Wesley gets out of dodge. So, another backstage segment involving Charlie Dempsey and Hank Walker, the security guy. He's backstage. So, Walker felt disrespected from Dempsey's promo work on him last week. He said he's willing to do what it takes to prove that he belongs. Dempsey says he's going to prove Walker does not belong in the business. So, Charlie Dempsey versus Hank Walker. Dempsey wins via a sick-ass STF. Towards the end of the match, Drew Gulak, who we haven't seen on main roster television, I want to say in well over 4 or 5 months. It's been a while. I think it's been since August, maybe late July. But anyhow, he's back on NXT. That's fine. So he just stared down Dempsey. So I kind of like it. I'm hoping that they teamed him up and he can kind of mentor Charlie Dempsey. And then, maybe have the match between the two instead of just, having a match between the two. And then Drew goes back to the main roster and does nothing because he's just sitting there. He's been in catering for months. So I would much rather prefer them to become a team. And at the same time, Dempsey gets mentored by Gulak and then have Dempsey turn on Gulak. I think that's what they're probably going to go for. Hopefully. That's what I would do. So, we get a vignette from Zoe Stark. This right here with Pretty Deadly, fucking comedic gold. I love this Christmas stuff from them. Fucking good. So Grayson Waller, he's backstage. He's talking to Mackenzie Mitchell, and he's hyping up the main event segment, that being the men's Iron Survivor Series challenge. Iron Survivor Challenge. The men's side of things. So, back to the Christmas story. Back to the Christmas story. So Pretty Deadly, they're out there looking ridiculous as fuck. And they give us a rhyming Christmas story. It all rhymes all the way through. They said they're beating everybody else. And they're saying they're never going to ever lose their championships. And they said that 2023 will be the same for them as 2022. It's going to be Pretty Deadly's year. So they hug and wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Out comes the fucking New Day. The New Day. And they get a crazy, insane pop. I mean, the crowd's super into it. So, basically, the New Day, they lay down the challenge to face Pretty Deadly for the NXT Tag Team Championships. So, that's fucking cool right there. Great. So, Aladon, she's backstage, laughing. She's playing with a Ouija board. She says tonight will be her first match in NXT and hopes that Alba Fire's watching. Alright. Javier Bernal, he's backstage with Mackenzie Mitchell, clowning, saying that he's looking over his shoulder to see if he was scared of him this year. Javi says he's scared of nothing, and the show wants nothing to do with him. And then Bernal accuses Mackenzie of being biased. So she basically wants another opinion. She finds Ike Manjiro, who we haven't seen in months. I want to say since either late July or early August. So basically, Ike Manjiro calls Javi big body chicken, and he laughs. And the same with Mackenzie. I'm like, no. I do not want a Javier Bernal versus Ike Manjiro match. I just don't want to see it. Nah. Just not down for it. Next, Isla Dawn versus Thea Hale. Isla Dawn wins via a reverse DDT. So, post-match, Alba Fire comes out. The ring fills with smoke. Alba Fire appears, and they brawl. And then they're separated by referees. So, there's that. We get a vignette from Kiana James. So, she says that she's in her war room with her assistant talking business about how she went on Saturday. Her assistant has it ready for her after party and says that she's got something special since James asked in an envelope with her logo on the front. So that leads us into Brooks and Jensen. I mean, my bad. Jensen and Briggs versus Inoue and Malik Blade. Briggs and Jensen, they win. Who really gives a shit? Match never happened. They win via the high-low. So after the match, the two guys shake hands. But Jensen got distracted from Kiana. She put an envelope in his jacket. So with that, allows him to have an invite for Saturday's deadline. So there's that. I guess they're still going to have the feud between Fallon Henley and Kiana James continue, which is fine. Something I'm fine with. Now, my girl, Roxanne Perez, who I love, she's good. She's so fucking good in the ring. She's great. But on the mic, horrible. Oh my God. This girl has got to have a fucking character change, like ASAP. Like, not next week, not next year, like right the fuck now. So, she says she got screwed over last time, but wants another shot at Mandy Rose. She wants it so bad she can't stop talking. She wants to just go out there and do it. So Perez is looking into a mirror, and she says she's the only person who can stop her from winning. So the only person that can stop her winning at deadline is herself. The main event of the show, wrestling-wise, wild card for the women, Wendy Chu, Fallon Henley, Indy Hartwell. Indy Hartwell wins. Really good match. I'm glad that she won. You know, I thought that Wendy Chu was going to win to an extent, but it actually makes sense. And you can still progress the Fallon Henley and Kiana James storyline. You can still progress that, move that forward. So, I mean, you know, there's that. Oh, and Kiana James gave VIP tickets to Briggs and Jensen. I did mention that. So, Toxic Attraction. They're watching from the Toxic Lounge. So, out of nowhere, Indy, she basically tells Mandy that she's coming for her. She tells Mandy that she's coming for her. Okay, yeah. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. Hold on. I'm lost in my notes. Hold on. Let me find it. Give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah, okay. My bad. I apologize about that. So Indy Hartwell, she goes into the Toxic Lounge, and she's super fired up. And she goes on about how Deadline's going to be her night, and she's going to be the one to finally take the title off of Rose, which I highly doubt. She says when she wins when the Iron Survivor Challenge match ends, and she's the winner, the clock will begin ticking on Rose's title reign. And then out of nowhere, Hartwell, she storms out and dips out. So, okay, that's fine. Although she's not going to win. Main event that closed the show. Didn't really like it all too much. There was some decent zingers here from Grayson Waller, promo-wise. But other than that, this was just nauseating, in my opinion. This really should have happened earlier on in the show. Really and truthfully, the show should have been closed by the women, in my opinion. That's just me. But anyway, so Waller, he talks about the importance of the first-time match. So he insults a fan in front of a front row, saying that he's never got any. So that was pretty funny. Waller says that we'll be linked together forever with this match. He introduces everybody. So Hayes, he gets on the mic. He talks on to everybody else, says he's better than everybody else. JD does the same thing, basically saying, all that. Waller says that Carmelo Hayes did his best Grayson Waller cosplay tonight. So Gaethje talked about how individuals are greedy and how his togetherness will help him see the field and get the win. Action believes this match will bring the best out of all of them. And any mistake can be penalized. Anyway, Gaethje says that he's going to be the Iron Survivor. He wants to be the last one in, and he says that the schismistry will grow. And then my bad. Then, they all start to brawl, basically. And, Waller, he does, a two-pace suicida, taking out, I forgot who he took out. I want to say he took out Carmelo Hayes, and then everybody else started to brawl. And that was how it went off the air for NXT. So that was fine, I guess. Pretty good episode of NXT, I would say. There's some story that needs to... we got some more stories that they're still going to develop on the back burner. Obviously, Kiana James and Indy Hartwell. My bad, Kiana James and Fallon Henley, my bad. So that's still going to develop. Pretty Deadly stuff was cool. So, yeah. All right. Let's go into the predictions for Deadline. Okay. Alba Fire versus Isla Dawn. Isla Dawn basically just got there. It's basically time for Alba Fire to go to the main roster. Basically. Can we please send her there? So I wanted them to kind of wait for the match, maybe save it up until what's the pay-per-view? Oh yeah, New Year's Evil, my bad. It just came to me, New Year's Evil. I wanted them to kind of wait till then to do the match there, but it is what it is. There needs to be more story involved. We need to know why these two are fighting, why these two have issues with one another. It just doesn't make any sense just for Isla Dawn to just attack Alba with no explanation. Just because spirits tell you to do stuff doesn't mean really anything. But it is what it is. But Isla Dawn's gonna win that one. Pretty Deadly versus the New Day for the NXT Tag Team Championships, which I like. I I want New Day to stay there more than a cup of coffee. They need to stay there for a while. They've done everything they can on the main roster. And I kind of want to see Pretty Deadly actually chase for a while. And maybe get caught up. Maybe the night after Mania for next year. I think, that would be pretty cool. Plus, that gives New Day something special and different to do for a while. They've been on the main roster for forever. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that New Day wins. It does make sense. You can run it back later on. But I do think that it would be cool to have the New Day as tag team champions. It pains me to say that because I'm not really a fan of the New Day. Same thing with Booker T. I agree with him on that. Like, he lost his shit on commentary about it when they appeared. But I do think that it would be very beneficial for the New Day to win. There's a lot of story that you could tell. So, yeah. Moving on. Braun Breaker versus Apollo Crews. This is a match that has no story. This is a match that has no heat going into it. They're just facing each other just to face each other. It doesn't make any sense. These guys need to be fighting over something. Fighting for something. Not just to be NXT champion, but why are they doing this? Apollo Crews just came off of a not so good feud from Grayson Waller a while back. And Braun has been lost ever since he, has done all the stuff in the summer. Feuding with Joe Gacy, JD McDonough, Tyler Bate, you name it. I don't know, man. I'm just not really into this shit. I'm not really into this match, It just doesn't make any sense to me. Obviously Braun's gonna win, and I guess they can run the match back at New Year's Evil. They'll probably end up doing that. I don't know. Let's go with the women's Iron Survivor Series. Iron Survivor match. Zoe Stark, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, Kiana James, Indy Hartwell. My main pick to win is going to be Roxanne Perez, obviously, because she's super over. But Indy just got a massive push. So there's an off chance that they could go with Indy. So my two picks to win, my main pick to win is Roxanne. And then my dark horse pick to win would be Indy Hartwell. Everybody else is just there to just be there. Zoe Stark is just there to be there. She shouldn't even be in the match, in my opinion. That's just me. Kiana James, she can still feud with Fallon Henley. And Indy Hartwell, it's time for her to either go or bust, It's all or nothing for her. The men's Iron Survivor Challenge. Carmelo Hayes, JD McDonough, Joe Gacy, Grayson Waller, Axiom. Two main picks to win. My main pick to win is Carmelo Hayes. As a dark horse, Grayson Waller. Which actually makes the most sense. As a dark horse. But Carmelo Hayes is my main pick to win. I think he's going to be the one to dethrone Braun Breaker, obviously. And you could probably do that next year at, they're actually bringing back, NXT's actually going back on the road next year. So they're coming to North Carolina, which should be awesome. So, yeah. But I do want Carmelo to win because it makes the most sense. It really does. And I think that Carmelo could really hold down NXT and actually be fine. And I think Carmelo needs to be the one to dethrone who needs to dethrone Braun Breaker. That's just me. So, overall, the show was decent. I enjoyed it. And the pay-per-view, a.k.a. Premium Live event, should be fun. NXT Deadline should be fun. So, now, thank you guys for watching. Please hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Shawn Michaels, stop making so many matches. Peace.
Everybody hides behind